Hi guys, it's Blackie. Okay, today with the Ground Pounder series, we're going to talk about the top cover. And what I mean by that was headgear. Now as you know, I am a big fan of my great big hat. But this wasn't always my hat, you know. Back in the days in the 70s and into the early 80s, I hadn't got one of these hats yet. And the hat that I got before this was in about, I want to say about like early 1980, something like that. But in the 70s, when I was running around the woods doing a lot of this stuff, that wasn't the hat I had. The hat that I had was a boonie hat. Old U.S. Army, Vietnam type boonie hat. Now if you'll notice how close in size that is. This was the size of hat that I preferred back in the day. It had a nice chin strap on it. It come up and fit on the head, and it was supposed to be goofy looking. It was supposed to drop down. Let me hang my old hat up right there. That was because what we'd do is we'd pucker it up like this and pull these down like this. And then if you were trying to be camouflaged and hide, these loops here on the side is where you would stick pine straw, other vegetation, whatever, onto this to make it look like a bunch of bushy leaves. And then if you were pulled down, it broke your silhouette. It didn't look like a human head when you first look at it. Now this cord could be used to pull a side up. Some guys would put them up like this with a snap and do like an Aussie hat. One side high, one side low. Some guys like to do like that, or down. I'm got in the habit of doing like this, of pulling down in the front and down in the back and pulling the sides out like that. I wanted sunshade. More importantly, as I'm going through this thick, I want something before hitting me in the face. I want to hit this. So my eyes are piercing through like right here, just underneath this peak, so to speak. So something coming in, like a limb or something that you're moving, was more likely to do this and give me a little bit of warning, keep me from sticking myself in the face, which does happen in this really thick cover like this that you're looking at. So you'll be walking along and you're looking at something on the ground over here and you don't realize that limb is right at eye level. So this was an advantage. Plus, like I've talked about with my hat, ticks, things like that would drop down on this and give me a chance to get them off of me. Now quite often I would take my hat and I would spray it down with permethrin, which is an insect repellent. And that would be a good way to keep insects off of you, because as it got hot and sweaty with you wearing it, it gave off the odor. And like I said, all the way around you got these little loops. It was there for camouflage. You also had air vents in it. Now some guys would fold up a bandana, and I would do that quite often, and put it up here in the top of it as a little extra directly on top of your head. You could put the string to the fore like this, where if it was bad windy you could hold on to it. Like I said, you could pull this up and cinch it up to pull up the sides, almost like a cowboy hat from the sides. Made it easy to hang and easy to do stuff with. It was also very handy, and we talked about this with the M65 field jacket. I would take this shirt when I take it off tonight, and I'm going to be wearing my clean, dry t-shirt. I would wad this shirt up and I'd stick it in here, and then using that cord I'd pull it up, and this became a pillow to give me a little bit of a pillow, see. So that was one way of doing it. Now guys would get pretty creative with these things, and in here on the inside they would sew little pockets in and things like that. I found that these were very handy when they got good and wet, because they evaporative cooled your head pretty well. That's one of the reasons the U.S. Army went to them in Vietnam. Now, of course, infantry was wearing helmets, okay? That was what you were supposed to be doing, is wearing a helmet, but the guys would wear these because they were a lot cooler and they functioned better. And you could take them up, fold them up, and put them in a pocket when you didn't need it. They were also very handy for carrying and gathering and throwing things, just wadding it up right quick, see? And I learned a lot from these hats. I really did. So much so that when I got my first hat like the one you're used to seeing me wearing, I adapted from this over to that, because that hat, once it got wet, would radiate heat, would cool my head and act as a sunshade. This big wide rim of these big boonie hats protected my head much better than a baseball cap, especially whenever you're considering like this, that you're shielding your face more from that direct sunlight and keeps you from getting sunburned on your ears and stuff like that. Now, I have been burned to a crisp. I'm down here in the South, guys, you know that, and right now, and this is the first day of July, we've, on my weather thing, it's talking about extreme UV, okay? That's where you step out in the sun and you feel it on your skin like you're next to a fire, no matter what you're doing. Sitting in a car, the light coming in through the window on your leg, it feels like it's burning your leg, okay? Having a hat on out here in the open, whenever you have to be out in the open, is just indispensable. It's a way to help protect your ears and things like that, and your nose, because burned to a crisp ears and nose are high on that suck factor. Because I can take my chest being burned, I can take my arms being burned, but my nose and my ears drives me nuts. And so I want to protect those. Carrying sunblock and sunscreen is also a good idea. But I know a lot of you GIs used these hats back in the 70s and 80s. And they kind of phased them out, but then again you see them. You know, Desert Storm, I saw some of these hats. They've floated in and out of usage. But for a field hat that you can simply fold up, wad up, and stick in a cargo pocket when you don't need it. Super handy. Now, do I like my old felt hat better? Yes, straight up. But now, that don't mean this is a bad choice, especially in this summer heat. And I've got a tan one of these that's my preferred hat to wear when I'm cutting grass, because I will take this, go out there and just go ahead and take the water hose and sop it down, put it on my head, sopping wet. I'm going to be sopping wet from the sweat of being out here in the lawnmower anyway, right guys? And I'll get out there and I'll cut the yard. It protects things hitting me on the head. It protects me from a little bit of sunshade, etc. And direct light on your eyes, you get, I won't say sun blindness like you get in snow, but it does fatigue your eyes. You're squinting all the time at the glare. Having something that I can pull way down, you know, like this, where I'm just looking out under here, or even where I'm actually looking down about, I'm seeing the ground like 10 or 12 feet in front of me, that's actually shielding my eyes from that sun, is a big advantage. So, in the Ground Pounder series, head cover. I wear a baseball cap a lot in my daily life, most of the time. When I'm in the woods, I got my old hat. But carrying one of these, I still got, you know, this is brand new. I bought it not long ago as a replacement for that old tan one I got that looks kind of ratty, and I don't want to carry it out in public. And I started to bring it out and show you that one, but I'm like, no. This one does really good for that, and it's a good backup. When would I want to wear this over that hat? I'm going canoeing in whitewater. I'll wear this. My good hat will be in the pack, secured to the canoe. So if I get swamped in some heavy water or something, I'm not going to lose that good hat. I could lose this. This was only like 10 or 12 bucks at the surplus store. I don't want to lose that hat I've had 30 years. And so therefore, this will be the hat. So it becomes a sacrificial. But it ain't a bad hat. Like I said, how do I wear it? I pull the side straight out, I pull the front down, and I pull the back down, just like that. That, what you used to call slouch hat configuration. And so it's not a bad hat to have. Hope you've enjoyed this, guys. And you guys that were GIs back in the day, Vietnam, Desert Storm and stuff like that, what other tips or tricks did you figure out to do with an old boonie hat? Or do they even call them boonie hats anymore? I'm so old school, guys. I remember them from Vietnam. And they were boonie hats back then. I don't even know what the official name for them is now. But I got this one surplus, brand new. It's military issue. Got all the things, and I get an extra large because Blackie's got a big head. Hat, sun, hot weather, green, polyester, and cotton. Just a good hat. Thank you for watching, guys. Please hit that like and share before you go. And until next time, guys, I'm Blackie wishing you safe journeys. Have a great day, guys.